All right, guys, we have one last bit of movie news to cover. And again, this comes from an email from the Nerd Zone. This is the last thing that Nerd Zone sent in his email. And he says, Sony executive confirming a Spider-Verse in live action. Kind of. The possibility of a multiverse, Sinister Six in No Way Home might happen with Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman, Riz Ahmed's The Lizard, Jamie Foxx's Electro, and Paul Giamatti's The Rhino. Okay, first of all, Nerd Zone, there is a lot to unpack here. Sony executive confirming a Spider-Verse in live action, kind of. Yes and no. There was no official confirmation, and we're going to go into the press release. This is an article from Variety that I'm going to go into in a second. First of all, there was no actual confirmation, so keep that in mind first and foremost. The part where you said kind of, I mean, that kind of helps to add the context to it, right? And then we have the possibility of a multiverse Sinister Six in No Way Home. First of all, I am 99.999% sure. Leaving a small room for error there, I am almost certain there is not going to be a Sinister Six pop up in No Way Home. It's too much. You need to do it. If we're talking the Sinister Six, this is what the Sonyverse is doing. They're building a Sinister Six universe right now. We have Venom. We have an upcoming Venom 2. We have Morbius that's already been shot. They just cast Kraven the Hunter, which will start filming very shortly. So I think those are more so going to be the players. Yes, we know that Alfred Molina's Doc Ock is going to make an appearance in No Way Home. Yes, we know that Jamie Foxx's Electro is going to make an appearance in No Way Home. Paul Giamatti's Rhino did not get a favorable response from the audience, from the crowd. So I really don't think we're going to get Rhino. I really don't think we're going to get Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. I just don't. Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman, or Riz Ahmed's however you say his name, Riz Ahmed as the Lizard. I don't think that these are characters that are going to pop up. If they do, I will gladly eat my own words. But it just seems too jam-packed, because they have a very specific story that they need to tell. If that specific story is, hey, we're going to do Sinister Six light, because it means he's going to have to defeat all 6 of these villains in one movie. That just seems so jam-packed. That seems a little kitschy. It seems so jam-packed. I don't see it happening. Could it happen? 1,000%. It could. Anything could happen. I just don't see it. Also, Andrew Garfield was very adamant. It's possible he is not to be believed, but he was very adamant that he is not making an appearance in this movie. Very adamant. And what's his face? The first Spider-Man. Why can't I think of his name? There's Andrew Garfield. I keep wanting to say Peter Parker. You guys know who I'm talking about. You guys know him from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. He's nowhere to be found for comment. I don't see him making an appearance in this movie. Okay. All of that being said, there is a lot to break down in this article from Variety. So let's jump into this article from Variety. There's a lot to unpack here. So forgive me, I'm going to be doing a lot of reading here. So here he is. This is Sanford Panitch, who has a striking resemblance to Paul Rudd, by the way. So Sanford Panitch was being interviewed by Variety about the inclusion of Kraven the Hunter being played by Aaron Taylor Johnson in an upcoming Spider villain verse movie. So they're talking about Kraven the Hunter, yada yada yada, and then Panich goes on to say this. Now this is going to be lengthy, so I apologize. We don't really think of our 900 characters as the Spideyverse, he says. We have a Marvel universe. The volume of characters we have, wait until you see the next Venom. You don't miss Spider-Man. He pauses. It'll be exciting if they do meet, right? So let me pause there for a second. It'll be exciting if they do meet, right? In another article, it says he kind of says with a twinkle in his eye. Like, he knows what he's saying. This guy knows what he's saying. Officially, is Spider-Man popping up in Venom 2? Officially, no. But then he says it will be exciting if they meet, right? So, I don't know what to think here. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to say. Because he's kind of saying a little tongue-in-cheek, he might pop up. But officially, he's not. But what if he does? That's hard to unpack. That's really hard to unpack. All right, let's jump back into this article. Therein lies the rub. In the world of sprawling comic book universes, the tangled web of... Okay, so this goes on to explain about, this whole thing is so complicated because you have Marvel, you have Sony, some characters exist here and some characters exist there, and some of them are shared characters. So you can't have one without the other. It's supposed to be a shared universe, so it's such a tangled web. And of course, they're using a lot of play on words here. Such a tangled web. Panich understands that the inherent tension in this convoluted nexus of intellectual property has engendered confusion and frustration among fans, myself included. While he remains circumspect about the details, Panich is also candid that he expects the tension will soon be resolved somehow, and that greenlighting Kraven, a character who's also tussled with Venom in the comics, will fill in pieces of that puzzle. So essentially he's saying here, or what this article is saying, is that in No Way Home, we're going to get a big reveal about what's going on between Sony Spider-Verse and Marvel Spider-Verse. We're going to have a bigger piece of the puzzle. But then as these movies unfold, in Venom 2, in Morbius, in Kraven the Hunter, bit by bit, we're going to learn what's going on. I think that, Nerd Zone, I think that is our clue for the Sinister Six. Are we going to get Rhino? Maybe. I doubt it'll be a Paul Giamatti Rhino, but I think that is what this article is pointing to. I think that is pointing to a Sinister Six movie. Let's go on. Panich continues to say, there actually is a plan. I think now maybe it's getting a little more clear for people where we're headed, and I think when No Way Home comes out, even more will be revealed. So that's basically just more of what I said, right? Tobey Maguire, that's his name, haha. Alright, so let's jump in. The implication of whatever happens in No Way Home could allow for Holland to live in Sony's Marvel movies, while also somehow being a part of the MCU. But beyond another appearance by Holland Spidey in an as yet unnamed Marvel Studios film, No Way Home is the last film in Marvel and Sony's current deal. Now, when asked what the future holds for Spidey in Marvel Studios, Panich sounds optimistic, if vague. Note, invoking Marvel Studios chief Kevin Feige. I'm going to read this last paragraph for a second. There's so much here. The great thing is that we have this very excellent relationship with Kevin. He says, there's an incredible sandbox there to play with. We want those MCU movies to be absolutely huge because that's great for us in our Marvel movies. And I think that's the same thing going on their side. And that's true. Let me pause there for a second. That is absolutely true. If Marvel Studios, Disney and Marvel Studios make excellent films, that's only going to help Sony and their Spider-Verse. And if Sony's Spider-Verse makes excellent films, that's only going to help Marvel and Disney and Marvel Studios and Disney. And same thing goes for DC Comics. If Marvel has excellent movies, that's going to make people want to go see more comic book movies. And that includes DC films. That includes the upcoming Sandman series on Netflix. More on that later. Not in this episode, but there's like good movies beget good movies. That's just how it is. And it's as long as it's within the genre, we get more good movies. So this is only a good thing, you guys. This is only a good thing. Let's jump back in here. Okay. Pennis finishes off by saying, but we have a great relationship. There's lots of opportunities I think that are going to happen. One of those opportunities would seem to be making a movie about the Sinister Six. Now, keep in mind that this specific paragraph here is conjecture on behalf of Variety. They say one of those opportunities would seem to be finally making a movie about the Sinister Six, the cable of Spider-Man villains, including Doc Ock and Kraven. Sony tried once before in 2014's Amazing Spider-Man 2, so does making a Kraven movie mean the studio's close to bringing this heinous half dozen together for real? I say yes, because they already have Venom, they've now Carnage, which in previous videos I've been referring to as Carnage. So we have Venom, we have Carnage, we have Kraven the Hunter, and now we also have Morbius, Michael Morbius. More villains to be announced, you guys. More villains to be announced. I think this is what Sony, if Sony, it seems like, is following the MCU model for creating a team-up movie. You need to do individual character films. We need to understand who these people are. Give them a story arc. Make us like them. Make them an understood villain. So that when they team up and it's a true Sinister Six movie, the groundwork has already been laid. The groundwork has already been laid. That just seems like a no-brainer. And while that has not been confirmed by Sony yet, it very much seems like that's what they're doing. And it seems like Marvel is giving them the go-ahead. And by Marvel, I mean Marvel Studios. It sounds like it. Like they're collaborating with Kevin Feige, and everything seems to be working out. All right. Last little bit of the article here. Panish says, quote, "It's tough because I think these projects are the kinds of things we have to work on in the dark," he says. "They're not ready until they're ready." Well, yeah, duh. Kraven is a great example because we just didn't rush it. We could have made that 3+ years ago. It's just now the script is awesome. JC was the right choice. That's the director of the movie. JC was the right choice, and we found the movie star because it was just kismet. And watching this other movie, previously in the article, kismet, he said he was watching Aaron Taylor Johnson in a movie with Brad Pitt, and their relationship on film was just incredible. And watching this other movie and realizing that it could be perfect casting. As for the Sinister Six, after a long pause, Panic chuckles. It would be very cool, wouldn't it? It would be very cool, wouldn't it? So again, it's very tongue-in-cheek. It's very kind of out of the corner of his mouth. It's a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge action, right? Oh, we're not saying there's a Sinister Six movie, but wouldn't it be cool if there was? Wink, wink. Are they building a Sinister Six movie? It is my belief that yes, they are. And my apologies. It looks like my internet is starting to short out a little bit. So, okay. I think they are building up towards the Sinister Six. Nerdzone, to your point, I don't think they're bringing in the Lizard. And rather, all of these characters that you've just mentioned, I don't think they're going to bring any of these characters into an actual Sinister Six movie. I mean, they could. They very well could. And they might. I just don't see it happening. I see the Sinister Six movie being built from Venom, Carnage, Michael Morbius, Kraven, maybe two. I mean, maybe we are going to get a brand new Liz. Maybe those other two missing characters are going to be Alfred Molina's Doc Ock and Jamie Foxx's Electro, because they're making the effort to put them into No Way Home. maybe maybe that is going to be the 6 right there. Maybe Venom's going to defeat Carnage in the movie, and so maybe there's room for one more. Who knows? This whole thing is rife for speculation. Who knows what's actually going to happen, guys? But I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know what those are.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles would want you to do. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.